Some of the most challenging cases to get are those catastrophic cases that everyone is searching for. We want to talk about those issues today, talk about the categories of damages, how we define them, some of the pitfalls in dealing with those cases, and the ways in which we've gotten some of the good results that we've had in some of the cases that we've talked about and dealt with over the years. What is a catastrophic injury case? A catastrophic injury case is one involving a severe injury that results in long-term or permanent disability and changes a person's quality of life. So the three different types of catastrophic injury cases I want to talk to you about today involve spinal injuries, traumatic brain injuries, and then other forms of substantial physical issues or mental issues that we're going to get to. The first type of injury are spinal cord injuries, and these can be the most devastating, right? Your job as a lawyer is still the same, right? You need to prove up negligence. You need to show that there was a duty, and that duty has been breached. And because of that breach of duty, because of that negligence, your client's life is now changed forever. So those same things are in this situation as they would any kind of normal case, but it's even so more important that you cross your T's, you dot your I's, because of the amount of money that's at stake and the livelihood and well-being of your client who has suffered a devastating life change. With these catastrophic cases, again, you've got essentially four different types of claims that you're going into. You're dealing with first your personal injury claims or your workers' comp claims, your Social Security disability claims, or the third-party liability claims. With regards to personal injury, right? Someone has completely breached their duty and you're gonna go after them and hopefully they've got some deep pockets and they've got the resources to go give your client the recovery that they're looking for. The second category, when you're dealing with workers' comp, you're dealing with an on-the-job injury, someone that's covered by workers' compensation. These claims I hate, right? Because again, the damages that you typically get from these cases is insufficient for the types of injuries and problems that your client's going to be dealing with. So that's why workers' comp is in place, is to kind of reduce the type of liability for the defendant, and typically it does not help that injured party that much. So I hate these types of claims when you're dealing with a catastrophic injury. Next, you've got Social Security disability, right? So many times if you are disabled and you're unable to work and you've got a long-term issue, you can get on SSI. Again, it's helpful, beneficial, but you're not going to retire. You're not going to be able to pay a whole lot. It's some help that you're getting, but typically insufficient to match up with the type of injuries that we're talking about. The one that's typically the most fruitful is the third-party liability claim. That is a situation where you've got a deep pocket defendant, a FedEx, an Amazon, a homeowner, for example, who's got insurance at their home, who's got a significant policy and enough resources to give you the type of money that you're going to need in terms of a significant recovery that will hopefully encapsulate most of what you're going to be going through for the rest of your life. These we typically get the biggest and best results on. Again, the defendants also fight just as hard to make sure that we don't meet that burden when we have this type of money that we're typically going after. You're looking at economic damages, right? There's many different categories. So we'll start with the economic damages. Economic damages deal with your medical bills, past and future, your rehabilitation costs, going to see future doctor's visits. You're looking at lost wage components, right? Future earning capacity. If you can't work anymore, that's a big component that you need to be looking at. Do you have to make modifications in your home? Do you need now assistance coming there to help to assist with those types of things? All these have a cost and you need to account for them in your damage model. Okay? The next category is your non-economic damages, right? Your pain and suffering, the emotional distress issues, the loss of enjoyment of your life. Again, if you're dealing with someone who was an avid bowler, right? Or enjoyed driving their race car and they can no longer do these things anymore, you can assess a value to that. You should be paid for the fact that you can't go do the things that you used to do in life. Someone needs to pay you for that in your damage model. Next is your punitive damages, right? These are awarded in extreme cases where you want to punish the defendant, right? You want to show them that your type of negligence in the act that you did has caused significant injury, and we want to make sure it's to send a message to others, do not do this type of thing, because if you do, you can get hit with a big number. Like in this case, to send that message to society, be careful when you're dealing with the lives of other people. If you or your family ever gets involved in a catastrophic injury case, there's some things that you have to do immediately to make sure that you protect your family member as much as possible. Number one, seek immediate medical attention. If you're dealing with one of these types of an injury, you don't play, you don't mess around with it, you don't try and save money. Get help right now. Going to seek the attention that you need, because the last thing you want to do is to make that injury even worse because you waited, you questioned yourself. Just go to the doctor, get help, do that immediately. Okay, so the next thing is contact someone that you trust. Contact an attorney to help you figure out what is your strategy. What do you need to do next? What is your next move? That's what you got to do, and don't waste any time with it. If you're dealing with one of these bigger cases, you want to try and preserve evidence, get information, and someone should be helping you with that strategy, and it should be a trusted attorney. Number three, gather as much evidence as possible. If you've got your phone, take pictures, take recordings, get information, get names. All these things are absolutely critical after you go back to start to investigate and find out exactly what's going on. Your case could turn on a statement that someone's made, and you don't want to trust your memory, especially when sensibility is heightened. So record it, rely on your instrumentalities, write it down, take pictures. That will help you remember things and gather as much information that you're going to need down the line to prove up your case. The final category is to properly calculate your future costs and what are your damages worth. And you need an attorney to help you kind of strategize. Hey, this is what it's going to cost me, and here's the items I'm going to need, and here's what I'm looking for. Make sure you're on the same page with regards to when you're asking the other side for compensation to include all of these things, right? You don't want to go all the way down a particular road and then, oh, you forgot this, you didn't do this, because going back to try and get it after the fact is definitely not a good strategy. You want to lay everything on the table right now so everyone knows exactly where the other person is, so you have the best chance to get that right result that you need. So hopefully you've learned something about catastrophic injuries and how at least I define them. Be careful what you wish for sometimes with cases of this nature, right? Because while you can get a big pot of gold, the work required to get there and the damage done sometimes to your clients, you have to be very careful in measuring and dealing with those particular issues. It's not as easy as you think. Hopefully you've learned something from this. Let us know what your thoughts are. Like, follow, comment on anything that you've seen, and let us know what else you'd like for us to be talking about in future. I'm attorney Darren Miller, and never forget, this is DLAW.